What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis TV. After another frustrating weekend for Arsenal, the 1-1 draw with Sheffield United, it got me thinking and looking at a few things. And I'm really questioning, how are the Kroenkes still in charge of Arsenal? How are they being allowed to run the football club in this way with relatively no pressure from the fans? I mean, I listen to a lot of the interviews and what people are saying, and how are they allowed to run this football club in the way they're doing it? I've been reading up on a few facts. It's always good to know the facts. And Stan Kroenke is worth over $9 billion. Over $9 billion. One of the richest owners in the Premier League. One of the richest um, business owners of football clubs in America. Now I'm reading up. Stan Kroenke is building a stadium for LA Rams that opens this July that is costing over $5 billion. Over $5 billion. Yet the Kroenkes have not invested any of their own money into Arsenal Football Club, not one bit. And we're reading now that Mikel Arteta was told there would be little or no investment in January, and we can only buy loans or basically free transfers or free agents. He's basically working with his hands tied behind his back, Mikel Arteta, and that makes me wonder, and this is no disrespect to Arteta, is this the reason Arteta got the job in the first place? Because I don't believe that established managers like Allegri, Pochettino, Mourinho, would these guys have taken the Arsenal job being told in January, you have got no money to spend? How can a big manager take that job, look at that team and say, I can fix that with little or no investment in January? The club are in a mess. Now, I remember seeing protests against Arsene Wenger about a year before he left the club, and some actually in that season. And I think the fans' frustration spilled over, and that was sad because Arsene Wenger is a legend of the football club. But I think people had just had enough, which is understandable considering the way Arsenal were going. How are the Kroenkes not getting that kind of pressure? I constantly ask some of these guys who have got big influence at Arsenal on social media and so on, why do the Arsenal fan base not put any pressure on Stan Kroenke? I don't hear it. I don't understand it. Okay, it's not easy to force them out, but if you protest, if you walk out of stadiums, if you don't turn up some weeks and leave, the seats empty, you try not to buy merchandise. I've got merchandise on here. I've got 2 shirts hanging up there. I got carried away. I saw all the Adidas kit come out. I loved the way it looked. I thought we were going to have a big season. Josh Kroenke told us to be excited. I'm not excited right now. I don't know if any Arsenal fans are excited right now, but I'm not excited. We're 10th in the Premier League. Southampton, who lost 9-0 to Leicester City not long ago, are 1 point behind us. 1 point. We've won 6 games out of 23 league games this season. Astonishing stats. 11 draws out of 23. Can you imagine if we'd won 6 or 7 of those games? We could if we'd won 6 of those 11 draws, we'd be 12 points better off. We'd be on 41 points. We'd be 4th in the Premier League. Simple as that. It's not good enough, and I think we're in a sad state, and I think we need to be honest about where we are as a football club. I think we're in a crisis. I don't know about you guys. Big up everyone in the live chat as well, and all the people who are watching this after. Ben, Tayyip Hussein, Adonis Goku, Unique Pieces, Billy Dalton, Emmanuel, DJD, everyone in the comments, respect. Adonis says, I'm 28 and this is the worst Arsenal I've ever seen. Yeah, I'd agree. I think we've had worse teams than this. This is the strange thing, the Shamak days, the Bentner days, the Andre Santos, the Denilson, the Pascal Saigan. We've had worse players, but even with worse teams, we've done better than this. I went to the game yesterday against Sheffield United. I had no belief we could win that game. And that's crazy, I predicted 2-1 in the preview, but I really wasn't confident. And at 1-0, I genuinely thought we're going to have to score another goal to win this game. And confidence is low. Do you know what? Ben says Danielson was better than Xhaka. Wow. Wow. It's crazy. It's crazy to... It's mad. It's really mad where we're going. Jordan Brock says, big up Curtis, man. We need to weed some man out of the club. Enough of the sympathy. Let's be honest about it. Right. I did an interview yesterday after the game on AFTV, and I was critical of Mesut Ozil. I'm not going to purely criticise him because it's not just about him. It's a bigger picture than that. But Mesut Ozil is the highest paid player in Arsenal history, 350,000 a week. This season, Mesut Ozil has got 1 assist and no goals. No goals whatsoever, right? He's a number 10, which is an attacking position on a football pitch. It is predominantly score goals and create goals. Now, in his favour, I will say to him, people in the team have not been scoring, apart from Aubameyang, really, right? So I give him that in his defence. But, and I say but, Aubameyang was top goal scorer in the Premier League last year with Mane and Salah. He got 22 league goals. Are you telling me that last year Ozil only got 2 assists in the Premier League? Are you telling me he couldn't have got 5, 6, 7 assists? He couldn't have got 8, 9, 10 goals? Mesut Ozil, I saw him yesterday have 2 clear opportunities to shoot at the edge of the box and he refused to shoot. He still tried to play another pass. So I'm not putting all the blame on Ozil. There are other players, Granit Xhaka, there's Socrates. There's loads of players at Arsenal who are at fault for the position we're in. But Mesut Ozil is not giving this football club enough. Now, if you're a big Ozil fan, then I have no problem with that. This is the problem with Arsenal's fan base. If you have an opinion that differs from them, they slag you off. I was getting criticised for saying that Mesut Ozil isn't good enough for what he's bringing to the team, for what we're paying for him. I have got nothing against Mesut Ozil. I wish he was tearing it up every week and I would be supporting him. Every week, a guy said to me, support Arsenal properly. I said, mate, I was inside the stadium. I cheered for 90 minutes. After the game, we did an interview and I said, this is not good enough, what we're seeing from him in particular. I was asked about Ozil and I said, he can produce more than that. And if he can't produce more than that, he shouldn't be in the team and he shouldn't be at the club. If you look now in football, a lot of the top teams are getting rid of number 10s. Liverpool sold Coutinho for huge money. Thiago at Bayern Munich, the rumours are they're trying to get rid of him in the summer. David Silva's leaving Manchester City in the summer. Tottenham are getting rid of Eriksen. Because if your midfield 2 behind the number 10 isn't good enough, you cannot afford to have a number 10. The only way you can have a number 10 is if he's tearing up the place. Goals, assists, unplayable at times, then you make that sacrifice. Ozil isn't doing that. Yeah, he can keep things ticking, he plays a few key passes, but it's not enough. The productivity is not there from Mesut Ozil. And for what we're paying, and you know we run the club, you know, on a shoestring budget for the size of the club. You need number 10s who can shoot, who are powerful, who can drive at the heart of the midfield. I'm not purely singling out Mesut Ozil. I'm not questioning his work rate. He has worked harder since Mikel Arteta has been in charge. But let me ask you all this, right? Should footballers be praised for working hard? Because I've played football, right, professionally. Not at the level that these guys are playing. I give them that. So I don't have the full understanding. But I've never heard players praised for working hard. Working hard should be the standard. That should be the base of what you do in anything, whether that's football, whether that's work, whether that's school. Try your best, right? Try your best. And then we want to see your quality on top of that. And Mesut Ozil is not producing enough quality. Would he be able to do this at Liverpool, at Manchester City? Would he still be getting picked? Now, he doesn't have good enough players behind him, I don't believe, in the midfield too. But I think Ozil is at the point now where, as a football club, we have to move on from him. He's been at the club a long time. I respect, him for coming for the club because I think he opened the door to players like Alexis Sanchez coming to the club. So I'm grateful for that. But I just think his time is up, and I don't think he's doing enough. Ben says, I play semi-pro and working hard is only praised when you're in under eights. I mean, come on, you can praise kids, for working hard in kids football, but as grown adults, you don't. I've never had a manager say, well done, man, you guys are working hard. That's the basic. That's the absolute minimum you should be given. And then you're judged on your quality, or how good are you? We played Sheffield United yesterday. No disrespect. Sheffield United were in the Championship last year. A Championship team, right? Mesut Ozil's playing against them. This is a World Cup winner, former Real Madrid player, so-and-so. He should be dominating the game against them. They should be in awe of him. Like, yo, we can't get near him. He's too good. He's too intelligent. He had a steady game. He did nothing special. He didn't cause any problems. Guna Talk, Let's Talk says Laka is the same. Works hard, but he's very average. At the moment, I would totally agree with you. The reason that Lacazette is not getting the same criticism as Mesut Ozil is because he's earned a little bit of leeway, if you like. He was player of the season last year. Now, I even said that last year Lacazette should have scored more goals, right? 13 goals in the Premier League for a guy who got player of the season with the amount of chances he got. I agree Lacazette should have scored more last year. I think because he was good last year, he got a little bit of leeway for how he's playing this season. But don't get me wrong, people are getting onto Lacazette, right? 6 goals, 6 games without scoring. Lacazette now is filling in for Aubameyang. He didn't score yesterday. Chelsea on Tuesday. He is starting to get that criticism. At Lyon, he scored goals galore. He was getting 20 plus goals every season. So he's not getting away with it. This is not about singling out Mesut Ozil. I agree that Lacazette is starting to struggle, and I think the criticism is starting to come. The one thing I would say with Lacazette in his defence, I don't think we create a lot of chances. But I agree, he needs to start scoring goals. That's definite. And again, £50 million we paid for Lacazette, French international. He's not getting picked for France for a long time now. So clearly there's something like missing in his game. People are calling him Lacazette. You know, I don't like that nickname, but genuinely it is. You look at Martinelli, the impact that he's having in the team, the energy, the brightness. He always looks a goal threat. He's scoring goals when he's playing. So Lacazette needs to step up, but as a team, we need to step up. Granit Xhaka, you know, he's playing under the radar. The last few games, he's been okay, but he's not doing anything special. Jordan Brock says, it's true, Curtis. I mean, Xhaka, Mustafi, Socrates, Ozil, how many of the big teams would keep these players? We are way too soft, and I thought the Arsenal board would change, but it's the same old. Now, we brought in people like Raul. People were calling him Dom Raul in the summer. And, you know, he got good deals in like Pepe, so on and so forth. But to me, he's just a puppet on a string to Kroenke at the moment, because if you were coming here and you knew things weren't going to change, why come here? You're just here for your paycheck, because things have not changed at Arsenal. Players like Maddison, Jack Grealish, these guys are overtaking the likes of Ozil and, you know, players like that. You have to live in the era of now. The time is now. We can't talk about people's CVs and people's history. How long does that hold you in good stead for? If you've been in a good job 6 years ago, is that going to get you a big job now? They're going to say, well, what have you been doing last year? What was you doing the year before? And this is how football works, man. People quickly forget how good you were. It's how good you are. And, you know, Wizard of Doom said, would like Grealish to replace Ozil. Me personally, if you've watched my videos, I rate Jack Grealish highly and I would sign him. That is somebody I would look at. Ziyech also is another one I would look at. Maddison I rate. I just think he would cost too much. I think he would cost 80 odd million quid. And you've seen with the likes of Maguire, 80 million, sometimes you can get bumped. What do you guys think, man? We're in the January transfer window now. We haven't signed one player. We're being linked with players that we should have signed 5 years ago. You know, the likes of Boateng and Mertens and Cavani and Thomas Lemar. I thought I was in a time machine. I mean, what is this club doing? Archie Chandler said Donny van der Beek, good player. You know, a lot of energy. I think he did come out and say he wouldn't leave Ajax until the summer. So I think at the moment we've got no chance of getting him, but I would definitely have a look at him. Probably a couple of panic loans on deadline day, said Wizard of Doom. I agree. I think that's the type of thing we'll do. I don't see big players coming in. It's peak season 19, says the only time this club will change is when the owners are gone and when we get an owner willing to invest, because we are moving backwards. I agree with that. Unique Pieces says never replaced a solid defensive midfielder since Gilberto. Spot on. We've needed a defensive midfielder, a powerhouse for 10 years plus. Ashley Johnson says, how much do you think Jack Grealish would cost? I think at least 50 million, but I think if, Villa are relegated, you may get him for 35, 40 million. And I think there's a good chance Villa will get relegated, unfortunately. Let's have a look what else. Johnny Bravo says, oh, sorry, it's disappeared. I'll come back to that. Let's have a look. Andrew Bland says, Yo, Curtis, the Kroenkes haven't invested in the team, sucked the soul out of the club and lied to us. What will it take for people to push them out? First of all, we have to come together and try and force them out. Don't turn up for some games. Empty seats, in my opinion, are what got Arsene Wenger the sack. When you hit the brand, you have a chance of changing things. Protest, make it a difficult place. Oh, Johnny Bravo 160 says, hey Curtis, would love to hang around, but up at 4:30 nightmare. All the best. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everyone in the live chat and everyone who watches this after. Let's have a look. Who else? Alex Alert says, it's very difficult to sign players in January. As you can see, not many big transfers have been going on. Patience is needed. I get your point. January is a difficult window to get top players, but we sold Alexis Sanchez in January. We bought Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in January. Yeah, it does take patience. I'm hoping things open up towards the end of the window. But I think if you've got money and you're ambitious, you can get these players. I remember Van Dijk moved in January. Coutinho left in January. If you're willing to put the money down, you can get big players, and we simply won't put the money down, unfortunately. Let's have a look what else you're saying. G. Will says Arshavin in January. Yeah, at the time, that was a big signing. I know overall it didn't work out, wasn't the best of deals, but that's another one. Stan Kroenke. I wish he was the real Stan Kroenke, because I'd love to have a conversation with you. He said Aubameyang was in January as well, yeah. Alan D'Souza says, from the USA, the Kroenkes have a history of taking fans for a ride. Moved an entire stadium, leaving people from a state angry. Yeah, I heard all about that and read about it. They clearly don't care about the fans. It's a Kroenke enterprise. They're here for business. They're milking Arsenal Football Club. As I said earlier in this video, they're building a new stadium for the LA Rams that costs $5 billion that is set to open this January in Hollywood Park. And, his net worth now, Stan Kroenke, is over $9 billion. Yet he has told Arteta minimal transfer funds are available. And to me, no disrespect to Arteta, I believe this is the reason why your Pochettinos, your Marinos, your Allegris did not take this Arsenal job, because they knew there was minimal investment and they didn't want to put their neck on the line at a big club that needed rebuilding with no investment. And I'm sorry, the Arsenal fans clash a lot. I've made comments about players in the past and you get a lot of criticism. Arsenal fans are very, disjointed. They're not together. But one thing we all need to agree on is that Stan Kroenke should not be in charge of this football club. Imagine where this football club would be with Manchester City's owners. Manchester City's owners have invested nearly £1 billion into this football club. And you can talk about financial fair play, but when you've got enough money, there is ways of getting around that. And we know that. You can sponsor your own football club with another company that's involved in your business, pump money into the club, get around financial fair play. It's possible. We all know how this works. Arsenal will never challenge for the title as long as the Kroenke stay, says Alexander Sarbaba. Sid says, spot on, Curtis. The Kroenkes are the problem. Simon Sorensen says, would you swap Lacazette for Lamar in the summer for Aubameyang to play up front? Just feel Lacazette is better on the ball, but he needs goals. Also, Lamar will you get a real left winger? Aubameyang is more of a striker. I would look at a left winger. Personally, I wouldn't go for Lamar. I would take Lamar on loan with an option to buy, but I wouldn't just go and buy him or swap him. I'd be looking at different left wingers. Different left wingers, maybe Wilfred Zaha. That's one that I like. There aren't many great wingers at the moment, to be honest. That's the problem. When you look around, Robert Pearson says agree with this guy, Arsenal Alex. Um, Arsenal Alex says Curtis, I was in the Arsenal shop yesterday and it was heaving. That's the problem. People keep buying the merchandise, and I'm part of the problem. As I said, I bought all 3 shirts this year. I bought this training top. I loved the Arsenal stuff when it came out. I was excited in the summer, I'll be honest. I fell for it. Josh Kroenke said, be excited. I saw all this Adidas kit. I saw the Fly advert, with Jeremy, the F2 freestyler, and Ian Wright. I got carried away. I loved it. I thought, Pepe came in, Ceballos, Tierney. I thought we was top 4. I thought we were challenging this year. It turns out we're 10th. We were told, move stadium, you'll compete with Bayern Munich. Right now, we're 10th and we're 1 point clear of Southampton. We can't see Bayern Munich with a pair of binoculars, mate. That's how far behind them we are. The club is in absolute turmoil. I know Arsenal fans don't always agree with each other, but listen, one thing, we have to somehow try and force these owners out of the club. It is a joke. I feel sorry for Arteta. I'm being totally honest. I wasn't calling for Arteta when the job was available. I felt like we needed someone else, but he's proven me that he is a good coach, and I'm seeing positives to believe in. But it's going to take time, and they should invest. The club, look, man, do you know what you've said? Almighty God has commented there. I don't know if you know what I mean. That's his handle name on there anyway. It says get Lewis Dunk from Brighton if they get relegated. Why can't we get Lewis Dunk now? No disrespect, he's at Brighton. They're not a big Premier League club, right? We're a much bigger club. I'm sure we could give him double the wages he's on. He's a leader. Every time I see him play against Arsenal, he dominates in the air, wins his tackles, and, why can't we go and get him in January? 30, 40 million, Adrian Webster says, buy the best Prem players from the lower teams to strengthen. Why do we hardly ever sign Premier League players? Not good ones. We're always buying leftovers. We never go and get a real informed player. Go and get Jack Grealish. Go and get Lewis Dunk. We don't do that. I don't understand. Changing stadium loses your fortress, in my opinion. Just upgrade all those years gone in history, says Robert Pearson. I think from a financial point of view, Arsenal was struggling in a 38,000-seater stadium. There was too much demand for tickets, so I did understand moving. But there's no doubt the Emirates has never been a fortress. The atmosphere is poor. It's very quiet. It screams out tourism, lack of atmosphere. There's no noise there really apart from big games. And, I think we make it too easy for the opposition to come there and play. It's very welcoming. Ashley Johnson says, get Traore from Wolves and sell Pepe. I disagree. I wouldn't sell Pepe. I think there's talent there. I think we have to keep working with him. He has to be more of a goal threat. Adama Traore, these rumours they want 70 million quid for him. It's just not going to happen. Carol Bailey says, Kroenke's net worth is 9.7 billion. Usmanov's 13 billion. We let Usmanov walk out the door. When he was actually making offers to buy Arsenal from Stan Kroenke, we missed a trick. The fan base should have gone crazy then. He made it clear, I want to buy the club now. If it doesn't happen, I'm going. And we allowed it to happen. I'm not saying we could have stopped it, but we didn't try. We believed as a fan base that Wenger should have gone. I didn't protest against Wenger, but I understood why that fans did that. We needed a change. But the fact that we haven't made any real attempt to force the Kroenkes out of the club, it really disappoints me. And I actually feel sorry for Arsenal as a club and the fans in particular, because the fans are the soul of any football club. That they make a club tick and move. And right now we're in a sorry state. I mean, you look at Chelsea in 4th place. They've lost 8 games this season out of 23. And we still, even yesterday, right? I said even before yesterday, top 4's gone, forget it. But if we'd have won yesterday, for example, we would have been on 31 points, 7 points behind Chelsea, and we're playing them on Tuesday. If we'd have won that game on Tuesday, it's all ifs and buts. We could have been 4 points behind Chelsea or fourth. We still would have had a chance of top four. The other teams don't want to win it. It's the same as last year. They were handing fourth to us. We could have even got third last year, and we still couldn't take it. And I mean, what direction are we going as a football club? I'm not even confident we will end up in a Europa League spot this year. And quite simply for me, these players have to win the Europa League. But I'm not confident. If we can't beat Sheffield United at home, how would we beat Inter Milan over 2 legs? How would we beat Ajax over 2 legs? The club is in a sorry state of affairs. The only thing that has improved at this club is the sponsorship on the shirt. I didn't like the Puma shirts. I didn't like the Puma sponsor. The Adidas sponsor looks sick. I'm not even going to lie. I love the Adidas sponsor. The training kit, the merchandise, it looks great. But the players, the team that's wearing it are not worthy of it. I made a comment yesterday. I said 70 to 80% of this team is not good enough. And, I was asked a few times, well, who's not good enough then? For me, Bellerin could be sold, right? There's a case for selling Bellerin. Callum Chambers, I think he's average. He's a decent squad player. I don't think he's anything special. Rob Holding, I think he's overrated. I think he's okay. Young player with some potential. He's suffered from a major injury, and I don't think he's as good as people think. There's a reason he hasn't had an England call-up. Kolasinac, I don't rate. I think he's not bad going forward. Defensively, I think he's bang average. He's on 100 grand a week. Socrates is past his best. We signed him 2 or 3 years past his best. David Luiz is past his best, although I think he's played well since Arteta has come in. And I think he's the best defender on the ball in terms of passing, but we know he's got a mistake in him. You look at the midfield, Xhaka, I would sell. I think he needs upgrading. He's been okay the last few games, but he doesn't do anything that's good enough to be a top midfielder in a top club. Ceballos, I think unless he turns the heat up in the next 6 months, send him back to Real Madrid. Mustafi is terrible. We should have sold him 2 or 3 years ago. We can't get rid of him. No one wants to sign him. Tierney looks all right, but he needs more time. I still don't know how good he is defensively. Ainsley Maitland-Niles has been decent the last few games, but switches off. Not a natural defender. Leno in goal, I think he's decent. Needs a better defence in front of him. Mesut Ozil is past his best. He doesn't justify the wage or the reputation. I would sell him. I think we need to play 3 centre mids with pace, power, who can get around the pitch. Martinelli is the brightest thing at the club. Young, great talent. I think he will end up being a Brazilian international. I think he could end up being a striker. And I believe if we manage him right, he can be a superstar. Reece Nelson, I haven't seen enough from him. I expected big things from him. Not enough end product. He looks weak. To me, he looks like he might need another loan. Hasn't cut the mustard. Guendouzi in midfield has got potential, but he's naive. His positional sense is all over the place. He doesn't play well in a partnership. He runs around playing his own game. I think he's a little lightweight as well and not enough of a goal threat, but he has got potential. I think he needs coaching. Joe Willock, I had high hopes for him at the start of the season. I actually thought he could potentially get an England call-up. But at the moment, I think Joe Willock has fallen down the pecking order as well. And he's not performing at the moment when he comes on. Saka, for me, I think is a bright talent. He's more aggressive. And I think that he has got a chance of making it. I genuinely think Saka is a bright talent, and he's got the attitude that I believe can make him a top player. Pepe, I think, has got a lot of talent, but we need more end product. He doesn't shoot enough. He doesn't directly run at the fullback enough. I think he needs to be scoring more goals, and to do that, you've got to shoot. He doesn't shoot enough. We need more from him. We need more belief from him. He's got to do more. We paid 72 million for him. The talent is there, but the talent doesn't matter if you're not producing. Lacazette, 50 million quid, player of the season last year, not scoring enough goals. Plays with his back to goal too much, and doesn't face forward enough. I don't think the service is great to him, but Aubameyang has showed that with minimal service you can still score goals if you're in the box enough, if you make enough runs. I think Aubameyang is the best player at the club, I think we're very lucky to have him. I think the fans need to really embrace him and appreciate him, because when he leaves, you will understand how big a loss he is. Aubameyang for me is the best player at the club. He's the striker. I wish we'd have signed him 2 or 3 years sooner. You know, when we had Alexis Sanchez and Ozil really thriving and at their best. I think Aubameyang, we needed him 2 years earlier. I'll be surprised if we can hang on to him. But from what I've heard, Aubameyang wants to stay at Arsenal. And, you know, looking at elsewhere in Nketiah, I'm not sure about him either. He needs time. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see with Nketiah. I think I've pretty much done the whole squad there. That's pretty much it. Nimsy Lot says Kroenke out banners needed. I 100% agree with you, mate. I'm sick of that guy owning the club. He's ruining this club. Big up Zayn Miasi with a super chat. Tell Trump Kroenke made of him and he will take him out with his drones. Oh my days. He done another one. He said fun. I will make fun out of him and take him out of his drones. Oh my days. I feel like he's the Donald Trump of ownership at the moment, Zayn. I'm telling you, this guy, Kroenke. Oh, dear. Take me back. Pirate Radio Archive says we need chance. Yeah, we need serious chance. And you've even said it there. Petitions, chants, empty stadiums, banners, protests. Put pressure on this guy. He doesn't deserve to own Arsenal Football Club, this great club. I love this club. All you guys in the chat, I'm sure you love this club as well. Chris Miller says opinion on Torreira. Sorry, I didn't mention Torreira. Torreira looks a much better player this season. Do you know what? I was never the biggest fan of Torreira. I felt like we needed a big physical presence in midfield, but I think maybe Torreira next to that type of player would work. And then the ball player. He's looked much better since Arteta's come back in. So yeah, I do like him. A lot of you are mentioning Ceballos. I do agree. I think under Mikel Arteta, Ceballos may have a chance for the rest of the season, but I'm not sure how much football he'll get, because it's whether, you know, he seems to like the Xhaka Torreira partnership. Is he then going to play Ceballos in the 10 role where Mesut Ozil plays? I don't know. I think they see Ceballos more as a number 8 than a number 10. Marky C AFC said, Chance won't do nothing. We need to stop buying merchandise, hit him in the pocket. Yeah, definitely. But the thing is, most of us as fans, we've bought the merchandise already. And, you know, but I agree, on match days, people are still buying a lot of it. Let's get into this one. Would you sell Lacazette and give Aubameyang 300k a week? I personally would give him 300 grand a week, because I think he's the best player at the club. Ozzy Guna says Ceballos is a modern day number 10. Should suit Arteta better than playing Ozil, in my opinion. I think Ceballos could play in the number 10 role, but they haven't really done that at the moment. A few more. Taib Hussein says Gnabry or Pepe. Well, Gnabry now is one of the best wingers in Europe. To think we let him go on a free as well. The overload of procrastination says worst Arsenal team in decades. I mean, it's not the worst on paper, but what they're producing is definitely the worst. Knight Rider says, what about Timo Werner? I don't think he would come here at the moment. He would cost at least 50 million, 60 million probably, or more to get him in. Shadow says something new on Bruno Guimaraes. It was linked with him today. I haven't really seen him play. I don't know much about him, to be honest. He's being linked with a move, 25 million. Abdullah Ahmed says, Curtis, very good content, like always. If you was the manager, who would you buy in this transfer window? And we need to keep Aubameyang. I would give him 400k a week time down and make him happy. In this window, I'd be looking at someone like Lewis Dunk, because I think he's somebody we could get. I would also be looking at Grealish. You know, he's another one that I think we could get. Ziyech from who's he play for? Ajax. He's another one. Thomas Partey as well. 45 million release clause. Apparently was very keen on joining Arsenal. That's another one. Upamecano. I see the Leipzig manager says today he expects offers to be made for Upamecano. So, Zayn Miyasi said, let's put Ty on a plane and send him to America. He can annoy Kroenke every time he comes out of his office like Ty used to do Wenger after each match. Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, Ty somehow used to find Wenger after every game. No one could see him, but then Ty would have a picture with him. Big up Zayn for the super chat as always, man. Aussie Gooner says, Curtis, are the links for you to DTFC true? Sorry, the rest of it has gone off. I'll answer that question. There's speculation linking me to the DTFC, but I'm not going there, don't worry. I'm going to be part of the rebuild for AFTVFC. And your other question was, not in all seriousness, what are the free signings you would make if you had the power? As I say, I'm trying to be realistic. We're not going to go out there and spend 200 million in this window. But you can't tell me that we can't get a Lewis Dunk, that we can't get a Jack Grealish, that we can't get Ziyech, that we can't get Thomas Partey, that we can't get Decore. Luciano Bonci, I hope I've said that right, says, I support Arsenal, but I'm a Geordie, lived in London for 20 years, and I have to say, Newcastle United Football Club is a way worse squad to Arsenal. It's not all the owner. I mean, the thing is, though, Newcastle, who at the start of the season were in absolute turmoil, right? They lost Rafa Benitez, who, let's be honest, was a fantastic manager for them. Newcastle are on the same points as Arsenal in the Premier League. I mean, it's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So big up Luciano for your comment. It's not all the owners, I agree, but investment. The team at the top of the league right now, Liverpool, their goalkeeper cost 60 million. Their centre back, Van Dijk, the best in the world, cost 75 million. You look at Fabinho, 40 million. You look at the front three are 35 million apiece. I know they have picked up bargains like Robertson. Obviously, Trent came through the youth system. Henderson was only around 20 million. So they have picked up bargains as well. Recruitment is important. And I don't blame the Kroenkes for some of the recruitment because we've spent money on Yajaka, Mustafi, 35 million each. Ozil, 42 million. Pepe, 72 million. Lacazette, 50 million. Socrates, 17 million. Tierney, 25 million. So we have spent money. So it isn't all the Kroenkes, but you have to keep going. You can't invest and then go, oh, well, I gave you some money. It didn't work. Now we're going to stop. Arteta's an inexperienced manager. He needs support from the owners, and it's not coming. Knight Rider says, Lewis Dunk is a commanding centre-back. Did you see him against us? Listen, I was at that game. I think we lost 2-1, didn't we? And he was rock solid that night. And I've seen him a few times. He wins every header. He's a leader. I'm pretty sure he's Brighton's captain. He's not fancy enough. Arsenal fans are snobbies. I'm telling you. They like the fancy names, the French, the Spanish names. An English centre-back at Brighton doesn't excite the fan base. And that's the problem. Sometimes you just need a no-nonsense player. Giannis Middleton says, would you take Gianni and Kondogbia? Well, the kid, well, I can't say kid, he's 28. Gianni, the guy I've watched a bit of him. He doesn't look that tall. Now, I'm not saying you have to be tall to be a good defender, but I'm told he's 5'9", which I'm not sure. I'm not sure about him. Kondogbia, you know, the last time I saw him play, he looked good. He looked like he'd improved a lot. We were linked with him a few years ago, and I think he went to Inter Milan. Jiaosi Donkor says, should have kept Mislintat. And do you know what? I had this conversation yesterday at the ground. And the belief was that Mislintat, his ideal situation was to unearth gems all around Europe, all around the world. Apparently he found Guendouzi and players like that. And they moved him on because Raul Sanelli had the total opposite outlook on transfers. He wanted established players. He had relationships with Kia Jarabchin, with George Mendes, with Mino Raiola, with these agents that Arsenal had not dealt with for years under Wenger and Ivan Gazidis. So Mislintat and Raul Sanelli bumped heads, but because Sanelli had the power, he sort of said, look, if I'm going to do my job, you need Sanelli out of it. Now, I'm not saying he forced Sanelli out of the club, but he wasn't allowed to do his job. Jenny says, Giannis Middleton says, Jenny is 5'10", Fabio Cannavaro was 5'9". Yeah, I understand that, but Cannavaro was a different era. He also didn't play in the Premier League. I don't think there are many top quality centre backs around now who are below 6 foot. I'm not saying that's the reason he's not a good defender. You know, he might be a good defender. I honestly haven't seen enough of him, so I can't commit and say that's the guy we should go for. Reese Lockett says Lacazette more like lack of presence. Man is more missing than Ozil. Lack of presence, you know. They call him lack of threat, twerkazette. I've heard all them ones. Lack of presence is harsh, man. Um, lack of don't care. Harsh, man. I think he does care. He tries hard, man. Troy Jarvis says Curtis deserves a lot more subscribers. You can't help but like this guy. I appreciate that, man. Don't worry, it's a journey, man. I'm enjoying the journey. Hopefully, one day I end up at hundreds of thousands of subscribers. But I enjoy just talking football. Goonalicious says, who would you buy this summer? Robbie says on his transfer daily that we may go all out for Upamecano. Love your content, by the way. Big up. Appreciate that. Upamecano, well, the Leipzig manager, was it, came out today and said they're expecting offers for him this month. Now, when a club says that, that to me says they're encouraging clubs to bid for him, which makes me think, you know, maybe they are willing to sell him at the right price. Reese Lockett says, when you're at 100k, I'll still watch. Loving the content. Respect, man. I appreciate that. You know what? The good thing when your channel is smaller is you can have better interaction with the people who've subscribed, and you remember the names of the people you're talking to, and it's a little bit more personal. So I enjoy doing it anyway. Johnny Hendricks says, big up Curtis, talk is cheap and your content is good. First thing I watch. Appreciate that. Always appreciate the support, man. The channel doesn't do anything without people, you know, supporting the channel and watching. Let's have a look. Simon Sorensen says, I think the right answer is a centre back. That's all, to be honest. A new number 10. Ozil is one of the best when he plays good, but he's not consistent. Therefore, go for a centre back. We definitely need a centre back. Abdi says, remember me when you're at 100k. Oh, no problem, man. No problem. I'll always remember who I started with, man. Stuart Snedden says, Curtis equals legend. Hey, we're all legends in our own right, man. Guna Talk Let's Talk says, Curtis, top bloke, mate. You are the only one who responds to my messages. Well, listen, I genuinely, every video I do, I probably get between 50 and 150 messages. I read every single message in the comments. I try and reply to nearly all of them if I can. Mr. Ixer123 says, Curtis, for real talk. For real, talk to me about Lacazette. Please give me the striker's perspective. I tell you what, the one thing I do look at and get frustrated with Lacazette is his positioning. To me, as a striker, try and get in the penalty area, and I think I just see him playing deeper and deeper, and he always plays with his back to goal. Strikers do have these spells. I've had this spell, you know, at a different level, of course, but I've had spells where I've gone a few games without scoring, and you know, you start to question your game. But the main thing I would always say is keep doing what you're good at. Keep getting in the box, keep trying to score goals, and it will come. He just needs that goal, break the duck, and then hopefully he'll start scoring. What I don't like is, to me, Lacazette has changed his game. When we signed him, he was a poacher. He played on the last man. He tried to get him behind. He took shots quickly. Now he's playing like a false nine, like Firmino, constantly got his back to goal. And I think he's suffering because of that. I do rate Lacazette, but I think he needs to score more. And I think if Aubameyang gets the new contract, Lacazette could be the guy we sell. Although I would like to keep them both. Abdi says you're very down to earth. Listen, in anything in life, you have to stay humble. You should never let success go to your head in anything. Abdullah Alamami says, please read this. Arsenal and United won't win the league within the next 100 years with their current owners. You know what? I mean, the Kroenkes, it wouldn't surprise me. The Man United owners, I only know a little bit about them. I mean, they always slaughter. The fans always slag off the Man United owners, but they've spent a fortune on players. But I think the problem with them is their recruitment. You know, they spend a lot of money but buy rubbish players. Johnny Hendrick says, Lacquer in training videos shoots from everywhere, but in games he never shoots often. It's like he's got the sniper ready, but never lets the bullet go. It's like a lack of confidence, man. Lacazette, lack of confidence. Man, he don't shoot. Jens Gazarin says Decore or Ndidi. I'll be honest, I'd take Ndidi because I think defensively he goes about his work a little bit better. I've seen Decore seems a lot more attacking. Ozzy Guna says, Curtis, my guy, which type of defender frustrates you the most? Personally, is it a big guy or a quick defender? Me personally, it's the quick defender, I'll be honest with you, because a lot of big defenders are dopey and a lot of big defenders are not, they don't move their feet well. So being a big defender, maybe in the air they'll be dominant, but I always feel like you can trouble. It's the quick ones who move quick, you have to start thinking differently then. Taib Hussein says Adebayor or Kanu. I'll go for Kanu just simply because Adebayor sold us out. He played for Tottenham. The celebration for Man City, I got no respect for him. Marco Sousa says Lacquer out, Curtis in. I tell you what, I would shoot more than Lacazette. Alvin Onyina says Maddison or Grealish. I like Grealish. I think he's better on the ball. I like his dribbling. I think Maddison is more of a long range shooter. Abdullah Ahmed says, Curtis, love your content and videos and your show with Laurie. Talk is cheap is brilliant. Keep up the brilliant work. You are my guy and an inspiration. I appreciate that, man. That's high praise. Appreciate everyone with your comments. Thanks for that great comment. Let's see what else. Darren Sullivan says Grealish in. I would sign Grealish, and I think he would jump at the chance of coming to Arsenal. Nimsy Lot says Lee Gunner or DT. That's a tough question, man. Do you know what? I don't really know Lee Gunner, to be honest, so I can't really say him. I'll go DT, I know him a bit better, even though, their team beat us. Reese Lockett says Arteta out, Claude in. That's harsh, man. Arteta, give him time. I'm sure Claude would do a good job. Let's have a look. DT's hat or Ty's beanie? I'll go with Ty's beanie, man. At least it's Arsenal on the front. Jace Donker says, don't want a number 10. Move away from them completely. I agree. I think we need 3 centre mids with energy and power. Alex Turner says, big up Curtis, wicked channel. Thanks a lot, Alex. Giannis Middleton says, who would you bring in to replace Ozil? I would go for Grealish or Ziyech, or maybe even a powerhouse like Decore. UK Alex Corner says, Arsenal's time will come, trust the process. Listen, I appreciate your patience, but we heard that 10 years ago, trust the process. And the process has took us to 10th in the league. And that is not working. Mr. J says, Zaha or Pepe? I hate this question, honestly, because I honestly wanted Zaha in the summer, but I'm going to back Pepe. Curtis Allen said, is Ozil done at the club? He's still a half-decent player, but I would move on from him. 1 assist and no goals is not enough, in my opinion. Tim says, do you think Kroenke would even sell Arsenal if an offer came in? I think he would if there was a big profit. So that's the problem. He's not going to sell for the value of the club. He wants way more. Johnny Hendricks says, Danny Ceballos was supposed to be the new replacement for Ramsey. I'd have Ramsey back. We miss his type of player. We have no box-to-box player. How often do you see an Arsenal midfielder run beyond the striker? It hardly ever happens. They all play behind the strikers. When we had Ramsey, he ran beyond and he pulled people apart. Curtis, when did you join AFTV's YouTube channel? Says Abdullah Ahmed. If you're on about the football team, about a year ago. If you're on about the interviews, I did an interview about 5 years ago and then came off the channel because I was still playing and then came back on. Paul Watson says, Curtis, we may need to give Martinez a chance. Leno, as I have analysed, cannot kick the ball long. This is why he always plays from the back and entices trouble for us. Leno's legs are weak. I still rate Leno. I get what you're saying. His kicking is poor at times, but I don't know if he's being encouraged to play like that or whether, he actually isn't very good at kicking. I'm not sure. Reese Lockett says Allison has the same assists as Ozil this season. That says it all. And you know what? What an assist that was as well. 60-yard kick out of his hands. He's got the same attacking stats as Mesut Ozil this season, Allison. No goals and 1 assist. He's probably had more shots than Ozil as well. Luciano Bonci says, who would be the ideal owner and what would be the best manager for the style of football you want to see week on week? Do you know what? I think the style of football that Mikel Arteta is playing is fine. I just don't think he's got the players to play that style of football. And at the moment, they're not fit enough to play it. So I've got no problem with Arteta's style of football. He needs players who are very good on the ball, who've got high energy, who are powerful, and then you will see better football. In terms of ownership, I just want owners who want to invest, who want to see improvement, like the Manchester City owners. You know, I watched that documentary All or Nothing, and the bits you see, you can tell they care. You know, they're constantly turning up to games. They're regularly in contact with Pep. They listen to the players he wants to sign. They usually go and get him the players he wants. And that's the kind of owners we need. Arsenal Alex says, I feel sorry for Arteta as he needs so much help to make us better. And he does. Abdullah Ahmed said, the football team. Yeah, I joined them about a year ago. Just over a year. Let's have a look who else. Arsenal need to bring some more legends back, like Dennis Bergkamp, Vieira, even Sol Campbell, says Johnny Hendrick. I always think it's great having legends at the club. Just seeing them on the training ground helps. Knight Rider 999 says 20 days into the transfer window and no signings. This board are frauds. I agree completely. You know, they're not interested in making Arsenal great. They're happy to just milk the club. Ozzy Guna said if Kroenke really cared, they would dive into the grey area of financial fair play, but they won't, as it's only business and a passion for us. And I agree. Manchester City live in that grey area. The amount of times they've been under investigation from financial fair play, but they get away with it because they'll invest money from somewhere else to cover the books. There's ways around it. Abdi says, do you think we need a left wing? Aubameyang can't play that. Do you think we need a left winger? Aubameyang can't play that. At the moment, I would play Martinelli there, even though I think he'll become a striker. But long term, I would buy a left winger. Aubameyang should be playing through the middle. Nikos Dimitru says, I'd like to see Henry as Arteta's assistant. The thing with Henry is very strong-willed. I think he'd want the manager's job. But yeah, I'd love to see him. I think he's got a job in the MLS at the moment, but it'd be nice to see him at the club. Mr. Ixa123 says, Curtis, would you take Savic from Lazio? Is that the same Savic who played for Manchester City a few years ago? I think, was he at Atletico Madrid? It's funny because if it is the same one, when he was at Man City, I really didn't rate him, but then he went to Atletico and he got a big reputation. I honestly haven't seen enough of him. Reese Lockett says, what happened to Freddie? I believe he's still coaching, but I haven't seen him. Oh, Simon Sorensen says, Milinkovic Savic. Oh, yeah, he's a tank. Yeah, I've seen him a lot. He's a beast on FIFA, by the way. Yeah, Milinkovic Savic. The only thing with Milinkovic Savic is I'm sure they wanted like £80 million for him. Arsenal are not going to spend that. Zivert said, signing Kazawa is such dumb business. What's your thoughts on it? He's going to be a free transfer, and Arsenal love bargain hunting, so a free transfer is going to suit them. Kurzawa is a squad player. It's nothing really to get excited about. I think they need way more than that. Joel Eaton says, Curtis, you are brilliant. Love your channel. Thanks a lot, mate. Appreciate that. Let's see what else. Ben said, he's the all-round midfielder that we need. The problem is, at this stage, how are we going to get him to come to Arsenal? And the money that he will cost as well. Knight Rider says, do you rate Sal? Yeah. Atletico Madrid, right? Good player. Again, you ain't going to get him to come to Arsenal. It's very hard to get players out of Atletico as well. Let's have a look. Mr. Ixer, yeah, no, the midfielder, yeah, Milinkovic Savic, as he said, he's a beast, but he's just not going to come. He would cost so much money. I think Man United wanted him and they were quoting 100 million euros. Do you rate Pereira at Leicester, says Nikos? Yeah, I would absolutely sign him if you're on about the right back, right? I would sign him and sell Bellerin. He's a far better defender. Raphael says, as a Liverpool fan, I'm saddened about Arsenal's downfall. Always like you guys as a separate English Premier League squad and had some classics. Arshavin 4-all and a couple of 3-all draws. And do you know what? I feel the same way. Not just about Arsenal, about other clubs. I think, Premier League football is at its best when Arsenal, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham are all good teams. I genuinely mean that. I think it's good when your team are good amongst a group of good teams. This is let's be honest, this is one of the worst Premier Leagues I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because Arsenal are terrible. You look at Man City this year, struggling to win games, can't defend. Tottenham are all over the place. Man United are a shadow of their former self. Arsenal are a mess. Chelsea, no consistency. The Premier League's awful this season. Apart from Liverpool, the only team doing anything. Chiro Immobile, if Aubameyang or Lacazette leave, says Knight Rider 999. He's one of them strikers I look at and I think, is he only made for that league? I think he left and went to... Did he go to Dortmund and he struggled over there? He scores a lot of goals in that Lazio team, is it? Maybe. He's an option. Yeah, he went to BVB, yeah, Dortmund, and he did struggle. I only went to Seville, I forgot about that. Would you play Lacazette at Cam instead of Ozil? I suggested this a few weeks ago. I would like to see Lacazette as a Cam, just whether his passing is good enough, but you could shoot from there. If Aubameyang and Lacazette were to leave, who would you look to replace them with? Number one would be Martinelli. I would move him to becoming a striker. If you're looking at potential replacements, it would be difficult, really difficult. I would look at Werner at Leipzig. He would be expensive. Real Madrid are trying to get rid of Jovic, but I'm really not sure how good he is. I haven't seen enough of him. Dries Mertens, short term on a free possibly to give us another year, although I'm not sure he's the answer. I think we would seriously be struggling if we lost both of them. I don't think we can sell them both. We'd have to keep Aubameyang, in my opinion. Vardy is like for like Aubameyang replacement. He turned us down though. Yeah. And I think Vardy is older than Aubameyang as well, and there's no way he's going to come to us now. And like you said, yeah, Vardy turned us down a few years ago. Nimsy Lot says no to Mertens. Yeah, look, I wouldn't ideally go for that. I'm just throwing names out there. We're short of options. Donny Miller says, should Saliba and Upamecano be our future centre pairing? I'd be up for that. Two young French centre backs. I would be interested in that. Ozzy Gunner says, Curtis, my G, are you about that troops life? If you know, you know. No, I'm not. I'm trying to live clean, man. I'm drinking water and trying to eat clean and that. So nah, but big up all the man who do what they do. I know what you're saying, man. If you know, you know. Keegan J says Bellerin's not good enough. We need a right back. I like Max Aarons at Norwich. I like Pereira at Leicester. I think there's options. I don't think Bellerin is that good defensively. I think he's average, and he cannot cross a ball. He's one of the most frustrating players. AFC UK says, hi Curtis, keep up the good work. Love the content. Think I'd prefer Shane Duffy than Dunk. More agile, puts his body on the line, and he'd be cheaper as well as he's not English. Fair point. I honestly don't watch Duffy much. I only really concentrate on Dunk. So let me know if other people have seen. Is Duffy better than Dunk out of the two? Someone was saying Connor Cody as well at Wolves. Let's have a look. Pereira is probably out of our price range, says Giannis Middleton. I think Pereira would be expensive. I think they paid 20 odd million. I think he'd cost maybe double that. Kazawa is a mistake, says Big Celt. He's a squad player, isn't he? And he's a free. It's a typical Arsenal signing. Simon Sorensen says Dunk 100%. Younger says, I agree about Bellerin. He's okay, but I'm not a massive fan of him. I just don't think he's that good. Mr. Ixer123 says, I think Jovic will be class and he will suit our league. Is he that good? I know he had a good season last year for Stuttgart. He got the big money move, but it really hasn't worked out for him. Do you think Liverpool will go and beat and take away the only thing that we hold on to? I only see one game that they could possibly give it up. It's Manchester City away, and at that time, how interested are Manchester City going to be? That is the worry. Maybe Arsenal can beat them at the Emirates, but I don't see it. If they go unbeaten, I think they take away our Invincibles because they'll probably get 100 points as well. Jovic reminds me of Giroud, maybe a little more mobile. I hate old-fashioned strikers. Listen, I haven't seen much of Jovic, but I hope he is not like Giroud because I don't want that kind of striker. The way I see it, get Kazara in, sell Kolasinac for 20-25 million, put that towards the upper corner, says Marco Souza. I agree. I don't think Kazar was any worse than Kolasinac, so I don't mind. Stan Kroenke, I wish he was the real one, says, would you take Emil Forsberg? No, I wouldn't. I've always called for a massive fan revolution, but I would say we wait until the summer window is over to see how they do business-wise to back up Arteta. That's from Samson John Nicholas. Right, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for watching in the live chat. I've enjoyed all your brilliant messages of support and all your questions. This has been nearly an hour. I planned only coming on here for about 10-15 minutes. Everyone who's watching it afterwards, let me know in the comments what you think. Who would you like to see Arsenal buy? For me, there's plenty of names out there. Dunk, Upamecano, Partey, Decore, Grealish, Ziyech, and a few others who you've mentioned there. Everyone take care. Thanks for watching. Keep subscribing to the channel, Curtis Shaw TV. Big up everyone in the super chat. Everyone take care. I'll be back with another video tomorrow. And I'll see you next time. Bless.